DIY or Die, Walker Vapor Group LLC, or any of its associates do not condone nor encourage the use of nicotine, vapor products, or any mood-altering substances without the explicit consent of a physician. The content viewable on this channel is strictly for entertainment purposes only and not meant to be seen as informational or educational. Must be 21 years or older to view these materials.
Silky beat.
Emily, quick, say something so it goes off of me.
Hey! Hey, what is up, mixers? Welcome back to another episode of the MIXINVIXENS. Hi, my name is Emily, also known as Milne Icon. Let's say hello to our other Vixens. We've got Jen Winstead, also known as the E-Juice Fairy.
How's everybody doing today?
Hello, hello. We have the lovely Lumi.
So muted.
And now you're muted. Hi, Lumi. How's it going?
It's going. Let's go.
Good. And we've got Rin Vapes. How you doing, Rin?
Hello.
Hello, hello. And then last but certainly not least, we've got JJ, also known as the Flavor Pro. How you doing, JJ? And yeah, so in a second, we'll ask JJ how is she doing, so she can say hello.
Why? What happened? Her mute button got stuck?
Sorry, no, I had child noise. Mark is not home tonight, so I'm also door open and may have a child running around. So,
And I might have dog noise, so.
Well, we will do our best. Try to get through it. How the heck is everyone doing? How was your weekend?
Good. Mine was good. I mean, I've been playing around with cutting the cord, so for the first time in a long time, I've not had any real cable or real satellite dish or nothing like that. So just checking it out, man. And I cannot believe I waited this long to do this. It's
time. Cut the cord.
The only bad thing is football. We're having fun with that, finding it. But we got an antenna, so we should be doing.
Can you get football games and stuff like that, like through Amazon Prime?
No. You have to actually have a subscription. You have to pay the extra amount of money, and I don't want to do that. It's like $55 a month to get the full with your local channels and everything, and I don't want to do that. I'm not gonna.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So
yeah, not when you most of the stuff you
watch at the same time. So nah, I think my husband will just have to suffer or go to a friend's house on football and give me the house. I mean,
yeah, go to a sports bar or a friend's house.
There's not that much time left anyways.
Yeah. Rin, how was your weekend?
it's pretty good. Nothing eventful, just chilling.
Chilling like a villain. All right, Lumi, how are you doing this weekend? You have a good weekend?
It was a wonderful weekend.
Did you do anything fun or just kind of relax?
I helped set up some OBS accounts. I helped set up Gizzard Stew's soundboard because Gizzard Stew totally needs a soundboard. I played Call of Duty with Rin. I did Fresh's takeover shows this week. I hope I was accomplishing something with those. I think we had some fun after we got over the initial hiccup.
Nice. Yeah, I see that. I saw that he was not feeling very great, so he kind of took over. All right.
Has anybody played with any new flavors?
No, but I got some in. I got FA blueberry ripe and the Indian mango, and so I'm excited to test them out and see.
You haven't tested them yet?
I haven't. No, I just got them in like yesterday.
You didn't even sniff them? What's wrong with you?
Yeah, see if it smells like ketchup.
Which one smells like ketchup?
The blueberry one.
The blueberry one.
Uh-oh.
To me, yeah.
No,
I don't
it
know,
does.
and I get that, but don't ruin it for everybody. Thanks, Rin.
But it
doesn't
doesn't
taste
taste like that. That's it. Once it's actually steeped, that aroma that you get in the bottle just kind of goes away.
Yeah, because I remember JJ said that she got a funky aroma from it as well. Like off
Yeah, it's like dirt and ketchup.
dirt.
Yum.
Yummy.
Dirty ketchup.
Don't trust what it smells like in the bottle. Try it.
Got that.
No, that's a valid point because there's some flavors like vape train butter toffee base that smells and tastes on the knuckle like absolutely horrid. But you vape it and it's freaking delicious and doesn't taste anything like it smells. So.
Well, I got that custard too from TFA. It was a trick. I went and visited the boys over at Bull City and they handed me a 10 mil. They said, try this. And I was like, okay, I get home, I try it. I'm like, God dang it. This is terrible. It's so damn good. And I have like 16 ounces of regular Capella V1. Oh my God. And they didn't clone Capella V1. They didn't clone Capella Vanilla Custard. I think they're as close as you can get to FA Custard Premium. With
really?
Mm-hmm.
So okay, I think the original TFA custard is very close to Custard Premium. So how does Custard 1 and Custard 2 differ from each other?
Well, hold on, let me sniff them. I don't know because I didn't mix them but side by side. I meant to today, but then I didn't. I think Custard V2, do I have it in here or is it in my, yep, hold on. I got them right here. The 2 is deeper. It's darker. It's a more vanilla note.
Well then, yeah, that sounds exactly like Custard Premium because I think the vanilla note in Vanilla Custard 1 is very similar. You know, it's just not as rich and deep. So it sounds like
this one's deeper.
That's great because for those who don't want to like order from chefs or DIY vapor supply to get, the Custard Premium, you can get TFA Custard 2 and be close enough in recipes and stuff. That's awesome.
And I even tested out, I asked in one of the big groups in the recipe group, how many of the pepper tasters got pepper out of it? Because, that's important. I'm not a pepper taster, so that's something I can't judge for that part of it. You know what I mean? So I asked over there and so far, some people get it mildly, but nobody gets it like their V1.
Awesome. Well, as you guys can see from the picture on the corner there, that the profile for this week was a pie. I went with apple pie, which was fun. I always enjoy doing pie. I like pie vapes, it's nothing like crazy unique or anything, but it was fun to do. How did you guys like mixing up your profiles for this week?
I've done so many apple pies. I wanted to do a pear pie, but then it fell apart and I lost the pear and I couldn't tell what kind of fruit of pie it was. So then I redid it and ended up with an apple pie. I was like, I know how to do this. So I went with what I know.
Cool. How about you, Ren? How'd you like mixing up your mix this week?
Well, my first mix was horrid. I tried to do a sweet potato pie with cheesecake. I think it was just too much going on at once.
Okay.
Because I definitely didn't want to do another apple pie. I feel like I've done so many of those. I just didn't. But yeah, my second mix thankfully was better. People may argue it doesn't look like the picture, but to me, that's just a pie.
Yeah, like you can't see what's in it. It could be anything.
Yeah, so fight me.
What about you, JJ? Did you enjoy mixing up your pie?
Yeah, I went kind of weird with mine. So it kind of, I don't know if it's just that I don't like pastry zest. Because I really don't like that flavor. And I used it because I was thinking, oh, well, maybe if it steeps a little bit and maybe I'm just crazy and I actually do like it at this percentage. And no, something clashed. So I had to remix it today. So I'm not entirely certain how it's fully going to steep out, but I think the off note that I got in V1 is now missing in my V2.
Did you completely leave out pastry zest in V2?
Yep.
Yeah.
And basil.
Hey, that just sounds like such a weird combination.
I told you I went weird.
Oh God, basil. Well, no, that I want to hear yours first. Really,
I think basil is
Same thing with this
underused.
one too.
Well, yeah, I can go first. I don't mind.
Haha.
Are we ready to do
Yeah.
recipes?
Go for it.
We didn't.
What?
I was gonna say we didn't ask Lumi how much she enjoyed making hers, but
Lumi, did you
I'm the
enjoy
one that threw
making the
Jennifer
pie?
off this.
I wasn't going to say anything. Thanks.
That's
I was actually
you
really
out.
looking forward to making this pie. I wasn't expecting to fail at it, which I did. So
Did we all just fail this week? At least with our V1s. How about you, Emily?
my V1 was actually a failure.
That's pretty interesting because we've all made pies before. I guess because we've all made it, we all tried something different, and we're like, oh,
Well, yeah, I think
I've never
because
really
we're trying to
made
make
an apple
it
pie.
different and unique, we kind of went a little too far, a little too crazy.
yeah.
And it didn't work. So my V2 is just very boring, but delicious.
Yeah, same.
Well, my V2 is in the vein. I hate apple pie before it steeps. It needs 2 weeks steep for me. So I tried it. The notes are mostly there. I can't taste the blueberry yet because I just remixed it. I think there was something wrong with my first version with the pastry zest. It may have just been me not liking the citrus flavor in it. And I could taste it, and it was throwing off a slight bitter, dry, weird note that was clashing with the basil that I had in there. So I took both of those out.
I'm wondering if the pastry zest kind of kicked up the weirdness from basil, because basil's a very kind of
maybe
bright.
I could taste the basil,
note,
and the basil tasted good, but something else was clashing with it. And I'm like, well, maybe I'll just take both of those out because that's a little safer. If somebody else, I put it in the description if you want to add it back and try it yourself, and maybe I'm a weirdo. But for this, I did apple pie as the base because, pie crust. And a little bit of FA meringue to give the top crust that little bit of crunchiness. And then for the filling, I wanted still apple pie, but I wanted something different. So I put I used the Granny Smith apple from Vape Train, which has kind of a bright, tangy apple note. And I like that one. It's kind of almost candyish, but with blueberry and the apricot mixed in there, it brings that candyish back more towards a real cooked Granny Smith. The apricot is kind of like if it had an apricot jam layer in it rather than eating actual apricots. And then the blueberries are really jammy and really good at that level. If I could have just ignored the off notes that I was getting. So this is essentially the recipe without the two things I think were causing the off notes. I did anise to boost the apricot and make it a little jammier. And then the real spice in this one is the FA cardamom, because that's really an underused spice, I think, and it's delicious. It's warm.
Yeah,
it's something different than cinnamon.
For sure. I have not played around with cardamom at all, so that's really cool.
It's a nice warm spice, and I think it goes well with apricot.
With 1.5% FA bilberry, did you get a lot of like that earthiness?
It's not bilberry. It's blueberry juicy ripe.
Oh, right. Okay.
It's not in ELR yet. I did put that up in the description. It's don't use bilberry.
Yeah. Okay, good.
And it's not an 1.5%. It is on ELR.
Yes.
We'll have to make sure we get that new flavor in ATF. So I never thought of using like that meringue for kind of the crusty top to it. That's cool trick.
Yeah, that's a Winstead trick. She does that.
I didn't this time.
And does the anise flavor come through at only 0.15%, or is it just
No.
kind of add to the jammy sweetness?
Yeah, that's to me. It's there, but you really, really, really have to be like searching for it in the aroma to say, oh, there's a little bit of anise in here, because it's more in that apricot jam layer, and it kind of boosts the apricot notes to mingle with the blueberry rather than being blended in behind it.
Yeah, that touch of anise does really good with apricot.
Yeah.
And it does good with blueberry too. There's some fruits that it goes with, and some fruits you do not want to mess with it.
Yeah. I can see that clashing possibly with things.
And I'm sure if somebody wanted to take this recipe and add sweetener, they could.
Yeah, that's kind of a thing, you know, sweeteners like salt, just add it if you want it.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
I think after 2 weeks, the second version will be better now.
Well, that looks really creative and really good.
And I can really imagine that a pastry zest in this would have thrown a little bit of too much funkiness in there.
Yeah, I only had it at 0.25%, but it was just supposed to add that crispy, crunchy layer.
But you have cardamom and anise in here.
Yeah, I think it somehow clashed with the spices and the basil. I think if you took this recipe, I think adding the basil back might be okay without the pastry zest.
Without the pastry zest.
Because I bumped the meringue up. I had the meringue only at 0.25 as well. So I bumped that up a little bit in the second version just to add a little bit more crispiness.
And it might be the anise messing with the pastry zest and basil as well, because they're all kind of sharp, bright, you know, like.
But anise usually goes well with lemons, so.
And yeah.
It could have been anything. I mean, I haven't tried basil back into this. I might try it again and see how basil does. I might cut it down to 0.15% for basil, just because I know super knows.
I would
turn it down. Maybe I like it better.
Room of yours with 3 candles burning. Just thought I'd tell you because I'm having an asthma attack just looking at them.
Why?
I can't burn candles.
No.
I have the soot from the candle wicks kicks my asthma into high gear. So I'm looking. They're beautiful. I love to see.
Well, it's just my little background, so it kind of
I love it.
Warms it up from this bright, harsh light that I'm washed out with.
I have one of those here too, and I don't know what I look like on screen.
I've ruined scented candles for myself. I used to love them, but then we lost our power in the middle of winter last year for like 3 days. So we had all of our scented candles in the coffee table in the living room, and we were all hovering over them. My nose was covered in a black lining for like, it was bad. The migraine, it was bad.
just the way the expression on your face when you're like, it was bad. That says it all.
I don't like scented candles anymore.
You can always do unscented.
Candles are goodbye.
No candles. You need LED
my husband
lanterns.
buy a generator at the start of the year when we got our tax returns because I was like, we're not doing that ever again.
I think I tag Winstead. She's next.
All right.
Go. All right. Let's do this.
What you got?
Let me pull it up. Dang it. So, what I got? Oh, wait. Crap. Went down. There it is. This mine? Yeah, it just says apple pie. So I did an apple pie. I did some funky stuff that didn't work. I actually did. Let me start with what I made that you guys are welcome to mix. That is good. So I wanted to do an apple pie, but I wanted to add something other than cinnamon to it. So I went with spicy biscuit from Inawera.
Okay.
And I have it at 0.5%. So I did apple pie from FA at 2%. That gives me the crust. It doesn't have enough apple, but I don't know about I know that a lot of people say they don't taste the apple, but I do. But I'm kind of sensitive to apple. I did apple pop at 0.8%. And I did double apple at 1.5%. Those aren't usually super strong at those percentages when you add them to bakeries, but that's okay. That's okay because I kind of wanted a bakery note more than anything. I added Innoware biscuit for the buttery note in it at 0.75%. And I know this is super low with the caramel candy at 0.10% from Flavor West, but I'm very sensitive to that burnt note and caramel note. And I only wanted a little bit of it to darken it and deepen it a little bit. So at 0.10%, I still get the sweetness. I still taste the caramel throughout the entire vape, but it doesn't take over my apples. And since my apples are at a lower percentage, I thought that this would work well. I got graham cracker from Flavor West at 0.5%. Also to give it little added bakery note. Liquid amber at 0.10% cooks my apples down. And that's it. It's just a plain apple pie with a little bit of caramel and plenty of bread notes. And I didn't even add any creams or any ice creams. And I was pushing my limits because I'm a cream and fruit person and not really a bakery and fruit person. So this was difficult, but it didn't turn out bad. It turned out other people will enjoy it a lot more than I will.
I've never tried Innoware spicy biscuits. Does it have the same like darkness and texture as biscuits?
Well, no, because it's got so many little spice notes. I can't really say what the actual spice note in it is. I think that it's actually it isn't cinnamon. It's what's in it's like nutmeg that it has in it, I think, is the type of note in it. I don't know what it tastes like by itself because I've never mixed it by itself. I usually mix it with regular biscuit, half and half, but hold on. I'll tell you in a second if I can get through the damn spice in it. No, because all I taste is the spice. Tastes like gingerbread.
Okay. That's what I was going to ask next is what kind of spice do you kind of get predominantly?
Like a gingerbread cookie spice type.
Cool.
So that's it. Mine was pretty simple, straight to the point. Tastes good. Takes 5 days to steep for everything to come together because otherwise you're tasting, it's very separate. You can taste the graham cracker, you can taste the apples, you can taste the liquid amber. You kind of taste the layers if you don't let it steep and turn into one recipe.
Yeah, I've almost used Capella Double Apple. I really like it as like kind of a main apple note. And of course, F4 apple pop is delicious too, but I guess I don't think of it as putting it in a pie, you know?
Yeah, I wanted to get that glaze that you have in an apple pie in the center of it. And that candied apple, once it's sitting in the sugar and everything, I wanted that a little bit in there. And I almost used Fuji apple instead of the double apple. But then I overused Fuji apple. So I was trying to go a little bit different. Like we all said in the beginning, we were trying to go outside of what we normally make. So I was playing with other flavors.
Awesome. This looks really good.
It did come out pretty jammy and cooked apple-like.
Mm-hmm. And that caramel candy there with that,
Just a little.
I love, I made my apple pie with caramel too. I think you need a little bit of caramel in an apple pie,
I know. I use that 0.10, but for me, 0.10 is all you need in any recipe.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just me, and I know that I'm super sensitive.
Well, because if you use more of it, it turns into like a hard crack caramel like candy.
And I thought about using salted caramel, but I didn't want to go there either. So I mean, I was just, in addition to that, the caramel candy was on my counter right then. So I was like,
I'm using it.
it's here. I don't have to hunt it down.
You're becoming a mixer of convenience.
I don't know. I mean, pretty much it's all convenient, but that was like super convenient because it was out and open.
For sure. Awesome. Well, thank you for sharing. This looks really good. Yeah. All right. Who would like to go next?
I'll go.
All right. What you got?
So I went a completely just random route. I just thought of a pie that I'd want to vape and went there. And that was blueberry pie. I haven't messed with blueberry in a while. Plus, it gave me the opportunity to use the new blueberry juicy ripe that to me tastes very jammy and I thought would go well in like a pie filling kind of situation. So I used that at 1%. I used blueberry muffin by Flavora at 1%. I used that because I wanted to have a little bit of depth to the blueberry because to me the flavor art blueberry is very just jammy. There's really no dimension to it. And the blueberry and the blueberry muffin almost has like a dried, like a freeze dried blueberry kind of aspect to it.
Wait, did you use the blueberry from Flavor Art?
Yeah.
I think it's the batch that we got because smelling the two is different.
The recipe that is pulled up, so maybe it's not.
It's not in all the flavors.
Okay, got it.
It's in the notes because there's nowhere to put it. Then I used the blueberry muffin for the blueberry aspect. Also, the muffin part of it, which to me isn't super prominent in it. I mainly get like the blueberry. But I figure it would add to the bakery aspect of the pie because I've tried a couple different pie crusts and I don't particularly care for any of them. So I was trying to kind of add things together to make a proper crust that didn't taste like crap. I did use Flavor West pie crust at a low percentage at 0.5. I feel like when I go too high, people get the off notes from it. I also use Sugar Crunch by Nicotine River at 0.5%. It's used to enhance bakery notes, like breadiness, and also add kind of a crunch to it. So I figured that would work well for like the pie part. And then I just added vanilla whipped cream by Capella just as kind of a smoothing agent and to add like a little bit of a vanilla note to it. And that's it.
Does that Nicotine River Sugar Crunch taste like it sounds?
Their description is a churro without the cinnamon. It's more of a texture type thing than like a flavor.
Okay. Does it have any AP notes in it?
I don't get any. I don't really particularly like AP. And I don't mind that flavor. So I think if it's in there, they either hit it well or it's low. I'm not sure what they use to.
I wonder if it has like now you got me curious if it does like meringue to me does that sugar crunch thing, but it doesn't have any bread notes. So you got me curious on that flavor.
I kind of wish I did churro now. Damn it. All right.
Yeah, it's not churro though. It's just the texture of churro without any kind of flavor.
Either way, that just sounds amazing. So we should do pie again next week.
No.
That's a no for me as well.
If you do churro, Lumi, you should use Jungle Flavors churro.
I have it. That's why I'm all of a sudden God, I should have used that.
Make another mix for yourself and throw it in there.
That would have gone well with the apple pie.
Yeah, I think so as well.
Damn it.
This looks really good. I haven't used Flavor West pie crust very much. Normally I use TFA or 1-on-1 or FA apple pie.
Yeah.
But it's similar to TFA, right? Just maybe a little bit sweeter.
I don't know.
I think it is similar. I think it's more watered down. With time, it blends into the mix more than TFA does. It doesn't separate as much.
Yeah.
But off the shake and within 10 days, it's pretty good. It's not one of those you want to mix long term or high. If you mix it high, you get funky notes from it. But I mean, I think that's with all pie crust, isn't it?
Yeah, pretty much. But I think with the blueberry muffin, like at first, the first couple weeks is just a delicious baked blueberry note. But that muffin, after a couple weeks, to me, does come in a little bit more, so it might help offset the dying down of the pie crust a bit.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah, it hasn't steeped a whole lot. I remixed it, or I mixed it after the first catastrophe, because I tried it, I think, Wednesday, and I was like, this is awful, and I don't think there's anything I can do to make it better. Because I tried to go real funky using yam as kind of like the sweet potato base and then adding spice to it and all this other stuff, and I just think it was just too much. And like the yam to me has like almost like a greasy note to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yam is weird. It's like too earthy.
Yeah, it didn't work. I really wanted it to work. Like, I think a sweet potato pie vape would be nice. I just don't know if it's possible.
Not yet. You'll make it next year for the fall.
Unless you want to search down some sweet potato from Fairy's Finest.
Man, I have that, and it never came through. And maybe I need to mix it again.
You have to mix it at like 5%.
I actually
7%.
like TFA yam.
I can't stand that flavor.
Really?
Wasn't it Concrete or Folk Art that made a yam pie?
It was folk art.
That was actually really good.
He made 2 versions of sweet potato pie. I like the first version better.
I added
But
a
he
little
used
bit of maple
Savoy
syrup
yam.
to it.
Yeah, I don't know. I try not to look at anything similar because I don't want it to influence what I'm doing.
Yeah.
And I don't want to be accused of stealing someone else's crap.
I steal other people's crap all the time. I don't care.
Yeah, I don't
No
know.
shame in Emily's game.
Mhm.
At least she gives them credit. She does come in here and say, I got these 3 ingredients from this recipe that
Yeah.
made.
Half my recipe is a direct copy from somebody else. This is who. Not today though. Let's go to mine. I'll go next. I just called mine Milnicon's American Pie because apple pie is American. And I was gonna use double apple for the apple filling, but you know what? I went with Pure Country apple because it's a very soft cooked kind of applesaucey baked texture apple. And then I backed it up with 1% for apple filling. This has some really nice spice note to it, and it does have some deeper, darker apple notes to it. And then I use 2% FA Soho. It kind of gives it that fresh out of the oven warmth, and it does give it a little bit of that caramel note as well.
Look at you using a tobacco to bring out that warmth and that little bakery note. Wow.
I used it. I did an orange cranberry muffin last year, and it worked out really well. So I wanted to try it with this as well. And it did the same thing, and I love this trick. It works really well. And then for the crust, I did a combination of 2%, maybe a little high, but 2% one-on-one pie crust and 1.5% Capella cinnamon sugar. So there's plenty of spice in this with the apple filling and the cinnamon sugar. And you do get a fair amount of crust because I don't know. I haven't used one-on-one pie crust very much. So I don't know if 2% is too high or what you guys use it at.
The general thing, because I used it in mine when I was doing the research for it, some people said as a single flavor, do it at 4%. And I was like, that's just a little weird. But a lot of people were using it at around 2%. So
Okay,
I noticed
good.
the higher it was, the more doughy it became for me. And I was not having that.
Okay, good. Well, that looks like I made the right call. So yeah, 2% that, and it's really tasty. The apple note in it is soft. I didn't go with a brighter apple like Fuji or any of the green apples or anything like that. It's a very soft, warm, baked, apple note in there. Yeah.
How was the one-on-one pie crust? Did you talk about that already?
It's good. I like it better than it's not as like dark and toasty as TFA pie crust, but I think it's got a similar kind of texture, you know.
Yeah.
How's that cinnamon sugar in there? How's pronounced is the cinnamon in there?
It's medium, low medium. You know, like it.
Yeah,
It kind of blends in with the apple filling. You know.
Do you think this is more crust or more apple?
It's more crust.
It's more crust.
Yeah, the apple note is very mellow, which I like. You know, the crust is my favorite part of an apple pie. So,
yeah, that's my favorite part too.
Yeah,
weird.
I hate it when people add too much fruit because I'm like, what's the point of having this crust on here if I can't freaking taste it?
I even like the Dutch apple pie. I think it's a Dutch apple pie where they cover the top gets covered in a pie crust too.
Okay.
You know, so like it's just all around crust, and then you get a little bit of the apple filling and stuff.
And then a big scoop of ice cream on top.
Oh yeah, man, you make me hungry. I miss apple pie.
I like it. It looks good. I bet it's good with that Soho.
Yeah, it's a pro move, guys.
It's a pro
Use Soho in your next baked good.
Soho and everything.
I love that stuff.
It's got the caramel. It's got the toasty notes. You know,
exactly.
It's got a little bit of that burnt toasty.
Yeah, and because one-on-one pie crust isn't as dark and toasty like as TFA, you know, I wanted to add a little bit of that back in, you know, but my way, in like a more pleasant way.
And then you didn't have to add any caramel because it's in there already.
Yep, exactly.
But it's not overpowering like it would have been with an RY4.
Yes. Yeah, and RY4 to me, like, I've only tried a couple of them. They're just a little too tobacco-y. They're a little too dirty, you know?
I think that's more the caramel notes in them.
Yeah, you think?
The caramel notes are deeper, darker, burnt notes. Because to me, I don't taste any tobacco in RY4 double. All I taste is burnt caramel.
Okay.
But I'm sensitive to caramel, so of course that would be the first thing I taste. But I love it. I love that flavor. It's just not, I have to add tobaccos to it.
Cloud King Cody. Soho equals not tobacco. I know, Cody, but throw me a bone here. It's the only tobacco flavor I like.
She needs a new shirt, tobacco knot.
Yeah, right.
I mean,
there you go. Mix it up if you have the flavors. It's pretty tasty. All right, who we got next? Is it just Lemmy next?
Yeah. Why does she always get away with being last?
She always goes last. What the heck, Lemmy? Come on now.
So quiet so that we don't pick on her.
I don't like spotlight view. I catch myself get all large on the screen and then it makes me get a complex.
Well, pop the chat out and you don't have to watch the video.
I don't watch it.
I shouldn't watch it.
I like looking at myself, so I watch it. But you don't have to. You can just pop the chat out.
Okay, well, I'll just go into my recipe. I think me and you were somewhat on the same trail with our recipes because I too used apple filling, country apple, and pie crust by one.
Nice.
So I figured for my apple part of the pie, I would do apple filling and country apple because I like the spiciness in apple filling by Flavora, but it's a little bit too strong. So I figured country apple would just help it out a little bit. So it wasn't just pure spice in my face. And then I started doing some research on pie crust by one-on-one, and I saw that it was a wee bit doughy. So I was like, Originally, I used it at 3%. Bad decisions were made this day. I took it down to, well, I think it was actually over 3% because 3% is just too even of a number. I took it down to 2.21. And It still tasted a little doughy, but I figured I wanted a scoop of ice cream on top of it. So I just started throwing more random shit in there. I went with liquid barn vanilla ice cream at 4.89% and cream filling because I figured that butter from the cream filling might make that ice cream a little bit thicker. And the butter would help the crust. And then I added croissant to hopefully make one-on-one pie crust a little bit more on the crisp side, I guess, like a crisp buttery crust instead of
I
a
bet
doughy
that
crust.
did work though.
When it comes to actually tasting it, my taste buds are a little fucked up right now. I don't know if it's like a season thing, but my husband said it tasted like an apple donut. I'm just not a fan. So
I can
don't
see
know
that
if
because the croissant is very yeasty.
well,
And
I
so
only
I
use
can
croissant at 0.29%. If anything, I think there might be too much butter from doing the cream filling and the croissant.
yeah.
And the liquid barn ice cream is kind of buttery too.
very
Yeah.
buttery, yeah.
So if I went wrong anywhere, it was
It's
just
still, it may not be like a pie, but it looks absolutely delicious.
Not only that, who doesn't like smothered butter on something sweet?
that's what I was going for. The American
Yeah.
dream. Just fucking put spoons. Just get an ice cream scoop and put butter on everything.
That cream filling is so freaking good. That's awesome that you use that in this recipe.
But yeah, I don't know. I said that I failed at it in the description because I don't know if it's my taste buds. I'm not feeling it. I'm not feeling it.
I guess apple pie was a lot harder than any one of us thought it would be this week.
Yeah, so I guess you're right.
It's such a simple recipe. We're like, what do we do with this? Wait, it's just apple pie. There's no nuances in here. It's an apple pie. What do we do? It's like if somebody just dropped a strawberry picture.
We all overcomplicated it.
I agree.
Trying to
imagine
be
if somebody
different.
dropped just a strawberry as one of their pictures that they wanted us to pick, we would be screwed. People just started dropping like a strawberry or a blueberry, or we'd be like, oh my God, what do we do with this?
Yeah, right?
At the same time, making something overcomplicated, like we did overthinking this, it leads you to a new place because once you start trying to get out of the box, you might come up with something amazing that nobody would have thought about. So climbing outside the box to go a little wild with these pies was probably a better idea. Maybe we just inspired a future pie recipe for somebody else.
Well, not just that. If we don't want to be wasteful, we have to vape some of this, right? So we were probably all already, you were already used to whatever apple pie we've made in the past, especially me. I mean, I vaped the hell out of some apple pie in the past. So I wanted to make mine a little bit different by adding that spicy biscuit so that I could vape it and not trash it later. Because I absolutely have too much crap, too many mixes right here on my desk that I don't know that I can get through this.
Very true.
I just feed mine to my husband.
I don't have enough Team Free shit anymore. I got rid of them all. And my husband only vapes strawberry.
Well,
I mean, when I thought the vape apocalypse was coming, I was like, yo, I ain't got nicotine. Y'all gonna have to go vape shop till we figure out what the hell's going on in here.
Well, you know what, guys? It was a really sad week. You wanna know why?
Yeah, why?
No one played along.
They don't love it.
Not even Sam.
They
We're
don't
just
love
like,
us anymore.
fuck
Not even Sam. And I was really excited because Sam even commented on the post, oh yeah, I can play along. And he didn't.
You know what? Speaking of Sam, I usually see his Facebook posts every so often. I haven't seen him on Facebook this week. So I'll check him and make sure he's okay.
Everyone's
He
allowed
was
to
in
have a
chat.
life.
The flu.
Mhm.
Yes, I've heard that it's going around bad too. But vapors don't get the flu.
Tell Fresh that.
It was also New Year's.
Oh, that too.
True.
You're right.
He was in chat earlier.
Yeah, it was New Year's. I slept through it. Did anybody do anything for New Year's?
We were
You
playing
slept
Lego
through
Star
New
Wars
Year's?
or
That's so sad.
Lego Harry Potter. So
What'd you say, Emily?
I said you slept through New Year's. That's so sad.
Why is that sad? I'm just old. No, it just happens. I think it's the first time ever that I just decided I was so tired that day. I worked that day, and I don't usually work on New Year's Eve. I usually have the whole week after Christmas off. And this year I volunteered to work because I wanted off next year. And so when I got home, I tried to stay up, but at 10 o'clock at night, I was done, man. I wake up too damn early to stay up that late on a work night.
I remembered what I did on New Year's Eve.
Oh, you remember?
Yeah.
Then you
Because
must.
it was on a Tuesday, which means I did the Lumi Takeover Tuesday show with Rin, Addie, Toonie, myself, and Larry, and it was all the way up until 11:30. So I didn't sleep through it.
Yay!
We
I
made
should've-
awesome mixes.
If I would have had something like that to do, I probably would have had. But I mean, all I was doing was just watching TV in the living room, and I was going, "Argh." And I did have friends that wanted me to go out. I was like, I don't feel like getting dressed and going anywhere. Not after working all day.
Well, you know
Now
what
I guess
they
I should have
say,
invited you.
Jen. They say that how you bring in the new year is how your year's gonna go.
So I'm gonna just be sleeping and relaxing.
It's gonna be chilling. It's gonna be a chill year for Jen.
So Wendy,
I hope so. I need one of those.
Wendy Vapes told me that to wear, or something that you need to wear on New Year's to bring in the good year, you're supposed to wear yellow underwear.
I don't even own a pair of yellow underwear.
Yeah, me
That's
neither.
how-
Why yellow underwear?
So I'm thinking Jennifer Jarvis needs to knit us all some yellow thongs to wear for New Year's.
My daughter asked me something about that. She goes, "Mom, is that New Year's underwear thing a real thing or not?" I said, "What underwear thing? Just sleep naked. You'll be fine."
This is the first time I've heard of it too, so I was like, I don't have any yellow underwear. What do you want me to do? Go hydrate myself? Eat a bunch
nobody
of
has
salt,
yellow underwear. I
eat
think
on
that's
my
the point.
underwear?
I've never heard that, but I have. My mom was very superstitious, and she always made me eat sauerkraut on New Year's Day with my meal.
On New
It's
Year's
supposed to
Day, do you
bring
know
you
what
luck.
they eat here in the South? Black-eyed peas. And you gotta eat
Cannibalism? They used to be a decent musical group.
Yeah, well, no, it's not a musical group. It is black-eyed peas and
Black-eyed peas.
and ham, and that's what you eat on New Year's Day. And
cannibalism.
supposedly it brings you money. And I'm Dominican, right? So we're pretty superstitious too. And what we used to do at midnight, we used to eat 12 grapes, and with each grape, you make a wish. But there's one more thing that Dominicans do on New Year's Eve. We have to clean our whole house, right? All of our floors, sweep everything out, and then you mop the floor, and then that dirty mop water, you pour it outside, throwing away all the bad juju, anything that might have been dirty in your house, out.
Oh, I like that idea. That's awesome.
So that's
I've heard of other people like cleaning their house on New Year's Eve, like and bringing in the new year, like with
that's
a
probably
with a
why I
clean
was
house.
exhausted. I was doing that too. That's probably why I was like, okay, I've worked all fucking day and I've been cleaning all afternoon and I throw my water outside. I need to go to bed.
All right, guys, let's start wrapping up. If you guys like us and like what we do, and you'd like a tasty way to support us, throw us a little pocket change. The 4 out of 5 of us have a one shot over at E-cig Express, and a few of us, I don't know how many, have recipe packs at Bull City.
I have a recipe pack at Bull City. I might be having another recipe pack soon because from what I hear, all 3 of the main boys there at Bull City love that strawberry coconut milk, and they're tired of having to mix it together. So I think they're going to put a recipe pack
Nice.
in it so that they can have it readily available for themselves They're like, we keep forgetting where the hell the recipe's at. We need to just put it on the site so that we can find it. We can stop texting you to send it to us again.
That's awesome. So yeah, so whether you shop on E-cig Express or Bull City, you can find things to help support us. We're gonna hopefully get Lumi on board with something soon.
Look at her face. Lumi, you no longer get highlighted. Everybody can see you now.
Oh, hi.
Yeah, we're on gallery view, lady. Ha. All right, guys. Thank you so much to all of our sponsors, Flavora, Bull City, flavorstogo.ca, and thank you, Scott, over all the flavors. And thank you, Wayne, for putting us on your podcast network. Everybody, you guys rock. You're watching us. We love you all.
Happy New Year, everybody.
We'll see you. Next weekend is Chit Chat Show. No recipes. We're just going to hang out. And so think of questions that you'd like to ask us. And just,
put us on the spot.
Chill out. Everyone have a good weekend. Bye.
Bye.